The mind is an elusive thing that philosophers and scientists have tried for so long to describe. But what if it's actually the ways we talk about the brain and mind that prevent us from fully understanding consciousness? Annie Murphy Paul, an acclaimed science writer whose work has appeared in Scientific American and the New York Times, as well as the author of books such as The Cult of Personality and Origins, argues that a lot of studies have been conducted on how thinking happens only inside the brain, and very little attention has been paid to the way people use the world to think. The extended mind is the term used by the author to describe how we interact with the things beyond our brain in order to aid its thinking and growth. Examples include how physical places can have an effect on how we feel or think, in addition to gestures and movements, working in groups, and imitating others. In this book, Paul argues that our failure to understand the mind lies in the failed metaphors that were conceived by the notion that the brain is a computer or a muscle separate from the rest of the body. The extended mind argues for a holistic theory of mental existence that integrates our bodies and the world beyond it. Here are the top 7 lessons from Annie Murphy Paul's The Extended Mind. Lesson 1. Know that gestures can support understanding and learning. The author refers to studies and a fascinating anecdote about a math teacher to demonstrate how gestures can be matched with terms or words to help memorize or understand them. When the teacher in the example, Brendan Jeffries, noticed that his students were struggling with complex terms, he assigned each one of them a certain gesture. The theory is that the use of gestures are essentially a means of load lightening, taking away cognitive strain to focus instead on the learning at hand, which makes it more accessible. One tip Paul suggests is to make sure that the hands are visible when making lecture videos, as effective gesturing can provide auxiliary information or help to emphasize certain points. Lesson 2. Think outside the brain. We always tell ourselves to use our brains whenever we're facing a difficult project or a tricky problem, but a growing number of research indicates that we've actually got it exactly backwards. The acclaimed science writer Annie Murphy Paul argues that what we need to do is think outside the brain. A host of extraneural resources like the physical spaces in which we work and learn, the movements and feelings of our bodies, and the minds of those around us can help us comprehend more deeply, make us focus more intently, and create more imaginatively. Lesson 3. Get a room with a view. Studies have found that working in a room that has a natural view allowed call center workers to handle calls up to 6 to 12% faster, and they scored 10 to 25% higher in memory recall and mental function tests. This, according to studies, also applies in most fields of work, where having an access to natural view increases the overall productivity and efficiency of employees. Lesson 4. Realize the power of nature on our brains. It's not just having a view that helps. We're inherently wired to thrive outdoors, and we not only just enjoy being in nature more, it even helps us to think better. Paul states that being in outdoor natural environments helps to balance our equilibrium and relieve stress, which then makes our thinking more effective. This section of the book has countless examples about studies, which prove how these natural spaces could help us to thrive. For example, a study showing that those people who spent 90 minutes outdoors became less concerned by the negative aspects of their lives, compared to those who didn't. At least 5 other insights about the power of nature on our brains could be named in this chapter, and it is worth exploring the different ways that nature actually helps us to think, beyond just the feeling that it's nice to be outside. Lesson 5. Understand what belonging in a space means. When a sports team plays at home, their testosterone rises with the ownership of their home court. This applies in workplaces as well. We feel a sense of safety, belonging, and ownership in our usual patch. Employees experience themselves as more confident and capable, and are more efficient. One fascinating example is that those who negotiate a deal in their own space often claim 60 to 160% more than the visiting counterpart. The author quotes Professor Benjamin Meager and his theory that our brains associate our preferred usual spaces with the memories of what we've achieved and learned there before. In Meager's words, our cognition is distributed across the entire setting. In the author's, our brains get an assist from the structures embedded in its environment. Lesson 6. Play the imitation game. Studies have shown that imitation is indeed an effective and efficient method to succeed in a variety of ways. The author dives into the benefits of imitation, from how looking at others' examples could help us to filter out a variety of options, to avoiding common pitfalls and mistakes, to saving effort, time, and resources that are necessary to innovate. Again, there are some more wonderful examples that are found and explained in the book. Lesson 7. Ask yourself and reflect. How often do you think about the world around you? About how places and spaces can affect not only by how much we enjoy thinking, but also drastically improve our thinking. Equipped with such knowledge, how can you create spaces in your life that help your brain to thrive? In conclusion, this book is geared more towards a general audience, rather than for educators. Readers that are interested in cognitive science and the discoveries therein will likely enjoy The Extended Mind. Can you think outside the brain? Let us know in the comments section. Thank you for listening. Please don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on my new content. You can also get a free copy of the audiobook by clicking the link in the description. Until next time.